Local 7 and 103.7 WTIB present Talk of the Town with Henry Hinton. News, sports, and community information and everything that's going on around town. Now, with Talk of the Town, here's your host, Henry Hinton.
All right, all you global warming fanatics, how do you explain this? It's still 14 degrees at 4 minutes after 8.
It's cold.
And it's going to be up to about 40 today. Welcome in Talk of the Town, Hour 2 here on Thursday morning, January 23rd. Henry Hinton and Heather King at the news desk this morning for WITN.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go back to Heather for some local news headlines in a moment. And with sports this morning, McGee is here. Good morning, McGee.
Good morning, Hen.
This hour, another chance for you to qualify to win the kitchen, number one.
I've heard about this.
$20,000 kitchen remodeling project. Going to be giving it away March 1st at the Convention Center for Home Fest. More details coming up on that. Your chance to win this hour. Get a free ticket to the show, and then you're qualified to win the kitchen. Also this hour, an interesting discussion with a gentleman by the name of Michael Brickman, who used to work for Scott Walker, the governor of Wisconsin, who is now being touted maybe as a presidential candidate.
Really?
Now that Chris Christie's run off the rails a little bit.
Star is falling.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think Christie will recover, though.
He could.
He might.
He very well could.
But Scott Walker is a very attractive guy. You know, he stood the liberals down in the legislature up there. And the Common Core, if you're not familiar with what Common Core is, this was a federal program that was not mandated by the federal government. States could adopt it or not adopt it. 45 states have adopted it. It started, a lot of folks in the conservative community feel that this is an Obama administration mandate to try to standardize what the liberals want kids to know. A lot of teachers don't like it. It's been in the news quite a bit. It basically, the way the Common Core standards are in public schools, they offer a clear, consistent description of the skills that kids should know at every grade level. So like at the end of grade 4, you should know this. And that's the Common Core. That's why it's called Common Core. Everybody in the country should know this by the end of grade 4. A lot of conservatives don't like this program. Earlier, right after he was sworn in, the lieutenant governor of North Carolina came out and made some negative comments about Common Core. What's his name? Dan Forrest. Dan Forrest. So Lieutenant Governor Forrest, who was on the State Board of Education, made some negative comments about it. He's backed off his comments a little bit. Becky Taylor, who, of course, is represents this area of the state on the State Board of Education, you may recall before Christmas she was here, and I asked her opinion of Common Core, and her opinion of Common Core is not so negative. She said, I believe Becky's comments were that it needs to be tweaked, it needs to be monitored, but there's many good things about Common Core. Mike Huckabee has come out in favor of Common Core. A lot of conservatives are coming out now and saying you're getting, everyone who's screaming about Common Core in public schools is getting it wrong. It is not an Obama administration mandate. It is good public policy for public schools. And this guy that we're going to interview this morning, Michael Brickman, he worked for Scott Walker in Wisconsin, and he is now on the stump. He is the national policy director for a conservative think tank, much like the John Locke Foundation. And he's talking to folks around the country and saying, if you stop and really learn what Common Core is about, it really is about conservative principles. So don't get Common Core mixed up with some of the stuff you're hearing out of the Obama education policies. This was actually started under the Bush administration. I know there's going to be a meeting in Beaufort County. Senator Bill Cook is conducting a meeting in the next, that might be later this week actually, or next week. And they're going to be talking about this. Again, a lot of conservatives don't like Common Core. I don't know enough about it to have an opinion of it, but I'm interested in hearing what Mr. Brickman has to say. I booked him on the show. They contacted us and said, hey, we're trying to get on conservative talk radio stations across the country to try to straighten people out on Common Core and let them know that, this is not a liberal shakedown. This is good stuff for public schools. So we'll listen to Mr. Brickman today, and we'll make our decision together. How about that? Coming up in a few minutes, 9 minutes after. We have Heather with news headlines. And again, what else is going on?
It's cold.
Yeah. What's the big news story today?
Well, we're still talking about what happened in Lenore County yesterday.
Another robbery?
Yeah, but the guy who was working was shot. And that just takes it to a whole different level. A guy named Scott Esposito, he was working at the convenience store, and he got shot during the holdup, which is awful. So it's like, take the money and go. But they left a little bullet there in the guy's leg.
I read that story. I thought about what Chief Aiden said when he was on Henry back in a few weeks ago at Krispy Kreme, talking about the plans for the police department here for situations like that and what would-be robbers could expect should they go into a place.
Wouldn't that be amazing if they walked in and it was actually a cop and just...
Yeah.
I think in Greenville that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I do too.
And have we had any armed robberies
not in the last
Greenville
few days.
since the chief said that? Because the chief, if you recall, right after Christmas was saying he said it in all the media.
Yeah.
Said it on WITN, said it on my show.
There have been.
Have they been like fast foods and that kind of thing? Convenience? I don't think there have been.
I have to double check.
They have not been as frequent, I will say that.
But if you missed what the police chief said, he said, we're putting armed police officers.
Right.
In these convenience stores and fast food places, and when you walk in to rob them, you don't know there may be an armed police officer behind the counter.
Right.
So you better be careful, and that may have had a change. I actually got a tweet last night from not a tweet to me, but the chief was on Twitter last night, and he linked an article last night about more on focused deterrence. And again, we talked about that with the chief, and you're going to hear more and more about that. He talked about it the other night with the Greenville Grit guys, with Michael Overton and Terry Williams.
And he's speaking at the Chamber's Power Luncheon at the Hilton in February the 18th to talk more about focused deterrence and to go in more detail with their 2-year strategic plan.
That's good.
I'm excited about that. I hope it works. I do not know. It's worked in High Point.
Right. And hopefully it works here.
It's worked in other cities. And again, it's a very interesting concept in where they actually make an effort not to arrest some of these violent offenders. They bring them in and say, we're going to arrest you.
Right.
And you're going down, but we're going to give you a chance to go back into your community and be a positive force and deter crime in your own community. And it's kind of on the surface, you say, well, it's kind of a crazy idea to not arrest these guys you got the goods on. But the truth of the matter is, it might be the smartest thing that they've ever done because they keep getting arrested and it doesn't do anything to stop them.
It's a vicious cycle. And since the beginning of time, it's the way it's been. And it's just been manifesting itself, unfortunately, in Greenville a lot lately. So, I applaud the chief for trying to make a change, hopefully for the better.
Well, here's the thing. What is that old saying? The definition of ignorance is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
That's right.
So he's decided not to do that. He's going to do something different, and I think that's good.
It's a perfect application of that adage.
Yeah,
really
exactly. All right, 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's get a break in, and as we go to break, we're going to give you a chance to call in and win a ticket to Home Fest 14, and you will then be qualified to win a kitchen worth $20,000. Call us right now at 561-8255. We're going to take caller number 7. And if you call in and win, you're going to be qualified to win the kitchen. If you win the kitchen, you're going to get all new appliances from Ferguson Enterprises, new countertops from Aspen, new flooring from Boyd's Carpet and Flooring, Stallings Mini Storage, and 24 Restore are going to be there to help clean up and provide a pod for you to, not a pod, that's a bad thing to say with Eddie. It's a mini storage unit to put out there. And also, Garris Evans is going to put in all new cabinets. Call us right now. Caller number 7, 561-8255. You could qualify to win the kitchen if you call in your number 7 right now. We'll be right back.
New year off right in a new Toyota with payments as low as $148 a month on the all-new 2014 Corolla. And new Camrys just $20 more, now $168 a month. And 0% financing on 10 new Toyota models. Plus, we'll help you get the financing you need. And remember, every new Toyota comes with a Greenville Toyota Advantage. Trade up and pay less. Stop making those high car payments on that old car. Rush to Greenville Toyota today.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit topdogonline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
When you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco. No matter where you go in Eastern Carolina, there's sure to be an attractive and always clean Trade Wilco Hess station nearby. For the absolute lowest prices on gas, groceries, and travel necessities, stop at any of the Trade Wilco Hess stations throughout Eastern Carolina. Keep your eyes on the road, but remember to look for the green and white Hess sign. The best part? No one supports the ECU Pirates more. So when you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco.
Unlock the best life has to offer for generations to come. Introducing the Legacy Membership exclusively at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. As a Legacy member, you'll not only enjoy all the benefits of an active, family-friendly lifestyle, your children and grandchildren will enjoy membership status as well. Belonging to Ironwood is remarkable. Sharing it with your entire family is even better. Become a Legacy member today, only at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Golf at its finest, life at its fullest.
Having a vision of what really matters is how we succeed. Keeping an eye on the ball, seeing all the things that we need. Focusing on the big picture, always striving to do what's right. Carolina Vision Care, we keep what's important inside.
It's a new year here at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep, and as you can see, our lot is overloaded. We must sell 100 new cars in January. Choose from our biggest selection of the year, over 400 new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, and over 100 certified pre-owned vehicles. Don't miss our New Year liquidation event here at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep, across from the Cracker Barrel in Greenville.
Okay, we're going to Heather in just a moment and get our news headlines, and then our discussion on Common Core coming up as well. But first, let's go to the telephones. Kendall Gaskins was
Good
our
morning.
7th caller. Good morning, Kendall. Where do you live?
I live in Greenville.
All right, very good. Well, you are caller number 7 this morning. You get a free ticket to Home Fest 14. And what are you doing on March 1st? You have to be present to win if you're going to win this kitchen.
The Civic Center there.
All right, good.
I know Kendall.
You know Kendall?
Are you Addie's dad?
Yeah, I am Addie's dad.
Hey, how are you?
Addie's dad?
That's how we talk to each other.
Yeah.
Is this a daycare thing?
It is.
It's a daycare
and
thing.
Mary's husband and Grace's dad.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's a good guy.
That's me.
All right.
He's super tall, too.
Hey, are you super tall, Kendall?
I'm not, I don't want to say super tall, but I'm not
Can I just ask you this?
player,
When Heather comes to the daycare to pick up her kids, do people like stop her for autographs and stuff?
all the time. They bow down and say, "Oh, Heather."
Kendall is lying right now.
All right. Well, Kendall, look, here's
They roll out the red carpet and everything.
Here's the deal. You're going to be one of the qualifiers for this kitchen. You get a free ticket by calling in and winning this morning to the show, and then you're going to be qualified to win a brand new kitchen. If you win, with your permission, we're going to come in and tear out your kitchen and build you a new one.
I've got a brand new house, and I need a new kitchen.
Oh, sweet. Ferguson Enterprises will put in all new appliances for you. Garris Evans will come in and put all new cabinets up for you. Aspen Tops is going to do countertops. Boyd's Carpet, our man Jason Boyd over at Abbey is going to come in and do, Boyd's Carpet and flooring. I don't think he's an Abbey anymore, is he? He used to be an Abbey. But Jason's going to come in and put new floors down for you. Eddie Stallings is going to bring one of his many storage units out there so they can store everything in it. And then when it's all done, 24 Restore will clean it all up and get it ready for you. And all you and your wife have got to do is walk in and you got a brand new kitchen. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
All right.
Can't wait.
Okay, Kendall Gaskins, the latest qualifier. Kendall, thank you, and we'll see you on March 1st.
Thank you very much.
And if you haven't qualified yet, plenty of more qualifiers. We're going to be qualifying folks one person a day here on the morning show, and I believe Tom and Sadie are qualifying folks one a day. And you can also qualify by listening to our music station here in Greenville, Star 94.3, and the guys over there will qualify you as well. And then coming up on March 1st, we're going to give that kitchen away. So very exciting stuff. And by the way, if you are in the home business and you want an expo booth at Home Fest, largest home and garden show east of Raleigh on March 1st, still some availability, but it's filling up fast. Hank was showing me the chart yesterday. It's going to be a big show. We're going to have, I think last year we had about 90 exhibitors. There'll be more this year, I think, without a doubt. March 1st at the Greenville Convention Center. Call us here at the station, 355-8822, and we'll tell you how you can be a participant as an exhibitor. And, of course, more qualifiers coming up. All right, let's check news headlines now, and then our Common Core discussion this morning with a gentleman that says people are getting Common Core wrong. It's not a liberal initiative. It's conservative. We'll talk to Michael Brickman about that. But first, here is Heather King now at the WITN News Desk. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning, Henry. Good morning, everyone. It's 8:21, 18 degrees we've warmed up to now here in Greenville. A Greenville woman is charged in connection with a homicide about 6 months after that crime. 26-year-old Colby Harding was arrested Wednesday on outstanding warrants. Greenville police say Harding is charged with conspiracy to commit armed robbery and with a dangerous weapon, and she's now being held on a $50,000 bond. Officers say the charges are in connection with the Mosley Drive homicide from June, where 47-year-old Jeffrey Keenan was found dead in his apartment. At the time, friends told WITN Keenan was a paraplegic who lived there alone. His website says he was a motivational speaker who co-founded Motivational Empowerment Network. Police said the suspect, Harding, is the one who called 911 after Keenan's murder. Authorities say more arrests are expected in this case. Authorities today are searching for 3 gunmen who robbed a Lenore County business and shot an employee. Lenore County Sheriff Chris Hill tells WITN the employee was shot in the leg but didn't have life-threatening injuries. An uncle told WITN Scott Esposito was taken to Vidant Medical Center, and overnight we learned that he was released. He was shot around 11 in the morning at the filling station on Highway 11 and Bland Howell Road south of Kinston. Sheriff Hill says they're looking for 3 men driving a dark blue Chevy Caprice with a Chevy emblem in the back glass. A Williamston man charged with killing a Highway Patrol trooper during a chase faces more than 13 years in prison on charges from stemming from crimes leading up to that death. Christopher Rogers was sentenced Wednesday after pleading guilty to first-degree burglary, common law robbery, and 2 counts of first-degree kidnapping. Wake County prosecutors say as part of his deal, Rogers will plead guilty next week in Nash County to a murder charge. The 41-year-old from Williamston is charged in the death of Trooper Gene DeMuth. DeMuth died September 8, 2012, while putting out stop sticks to end the chase with Rogers. Rogers' estranged girlfriend told officers he locked her and her child in a bathroom and stole her ATM card. Rogers apologized in court for his crimes. More than 3,200 North Carolina state employees have received pay increases from a special fund created by the General Assembly to adjust salaries to retain workers in high-demand fields and for increased job responsibilities. Governor Pat McCrory's office announced the workers received an average 4.2 salary increase, while some employees got raises of up to 10%. The state government budget set aside $7.5 million annually for this year and next for a salary adjustment fund. More than half of the affected workers are nurses and law enforcement employees who got pay raises of up to 4%. University of North Carolina system workers did not benefit because McCrory's office says the campuses have other funding resources. State employees have received one across the board raise since 2008. 10 at 8:24. Those are your WIT News headlines. Heather King. Henry.
All righty. Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome.
Nice to have you here this morning.
Always fun.
Stay warm, will you?
I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I don't like this forecast.
Heather King, the morning anchor person from WITN and star of the local daycare center. Talk to you later.
See ya.
8:24. Let's check some weather now. How much is this going to stick around, and are we going to warm up at all today? Here is McGee with our weather update.
Yes, no, and no. A mix of clouds and sun for today. Highs only reaching up to 40 degrees for tonight. Clouds this evening, decreasing later in the night with a low of 16 degrees for your Friday. Sunny skies. Cold once again, a high of just 29 degrees for your Friday. And Saturday and Sunday, highs only in the mid-40s, or low to mid-40s. Lows in the upper 20s to lower 30s.
All right, current temperature still 14. Has it warmed up at all?
No.
Still 14
I
degrees.
take that back. It's 18 now.
It's 18 degrees.
Boy, we've jumped
it's a
up on
virtual heat wave. And I was joking this morning about global warming, and all the liberals are emailing me and saying, just because it's cold doesn't mean there's no global warming. The arguments against global warming they always start off with just because. You know, when you're what I say, just because, you know, we have glaciers forming in the center of town doesn't mean there's no global warming. All right, 26 minutes after 8 o'clock, Common Core. One of the most controversial things in public education. If you don't know what Common Core is, stand by. We got Michael Brickman, one of the nation's foremost authorities on Common Core. Is it a liberal thing? Is it a conservative thing? Is it something Obama's trying to shove down our throats and get all of our kids to be uniformly in line with all the liberal policies? Is what we hear a lot with a lot of the conservatives. The Tea Party seems to really hate Common Core. What's the truth about Common Core? We're going to try to find out this morning. Stay with us. We'll have a discussion with Michael Brickman, who worked for Scott Walker in Wisconsin. He works for an organization called the Thomas Fordham Institute in Washington, D.C. It is a national conservative think tank, much like John Hood's organization in Raleigh, the John Locke Foundation. We'll do this right after the break. Stay with us.
It's a new year here at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep, and as you can see, our lot is overloaded. We must sell 100 new cars in January. Choose from our biggest selection of the year, over 400 new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, and over 100 certified pre-owned vehicles. Don't miss our New Year liquidation event here at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep, across from the Cracker Barrel in Greenville.
Think you're in good hands with your insurance company? The same people who held your hand when you bought your policy might try to wash their hands of you the moment you file a claim.
We'll help you take matters into your own hands by making sure you know your rights, and we'll fight to get you the compensation you may deserve.
At Hardy & Hardy, we're serious about seeking justice on behalf of our clients.
Count on Hardy & Hardy, protecting the rights of the seriously injured.
Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage Company will deliver a storage unit to your home or business today. Stallings Storage is the only local company providing mobile storage units 8x15 or 8x10 delivered to your site. If you are remodeling your home or office or need to store merchandise and inventory at your business, you need to call Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage. We deliver, pick up, and store it for you. It's that easy, and there's no need to send your business out of town when your mobile storage needs can be met right here with people you know. Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage is located in Pitt County on Beast Oaks Road. It's a well-secured facility with a living manager. Fixed units range from 5 feet by 10 feet to 40 feet by 40 feet. We store boats, cars, anything you need. We are pirate supporting pirates. Call Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage today at 321-2300. That's 321-2300.
when you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco. No matter where you go in Eastern Carolina, there's sure to be an attractive and always clean Trade Wilco Hess station nearby. For the absolute lowest prices on gas, groceries, and travel necessities, stop at any of the Trade Wilco Hess stations throughout Eastern Carolina. Keep your eyes on the road, but remember to look for the green and white Hess sign. The best part? No one supports the ECU Pirates more. So when you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco.
All right, it's 8:30 here on Talk of the Town. Welcome back, and we are going to have a discussion about Common Core, I think. We're trying to get Mr. Brickman on the telephone. This was booked through a national strategy group, a public relations firm. You know, why do I deal with these guys? Why do I deal with these guys? They beg for airtime, and then you book them, and they don't show up. Maybe we'll get them here in a minute. Let's get... I thought this would be an interesting one because we got him? Good. I'm just kidding if he's listening because of the Common Core battle. Do we have Mr. Brickman now? Let's go to the telephone, and on the telephone, Michael Brickman, the National Policy Director for the Thomas Fordham Institute. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
How are you? We thought you'd forgotten us.
Not at all.
We were having.
You're waiting.
Yeah.
Ready to talk about Common Core.
Common Core has become a political football in a lot of states. It certainly has in the state of North Carolina. And conservatives often believe, Mr. Brickman, that that Common Core is something that Obama is shoving down the throats of the school systems. But first of all, is it a federal mandate, or is it something states can choose to do or not do?
I mean, I think if you look at a legitimate federal mandate, you look at something like Obamacare, that's something that's being determined at the federal level. Common Core is a state-level initiative. It was developed by governors. It was developed by state education chiefs, even before Obama took office, actually. Now, that hasn't stopped the Obama administration from trying to take credit for it, and I think that's led to some of this confusion where people believe that the Obama administration is somehow responsible. I've written publicly and said multiple times, as have others, we wish the Obama administration would just back off, stop pretending they have anything to do with the Common Core, and let states determine ultimately what their standards are going to be.
All right, so now for people hear the term Common Core, but they may not understand exactly what Common Core is. We've had Becky Taylor, who is our representative on the State Board of Education, on the show talking about it. The Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina has said he's had some negative things to say about it. But a lot of times I sense that people really don't understand it at its core, pardon the pun. But what is tell us exactly what it is. What is Common Core?
Sure. So these, again, were standards that were developed by governors and education leaders from states. And standards are merely goals and expectations. So what do you expect students to know by the time they graduate from high school? Working backwards, what do you expect them to know in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, et cetera? But it's not about how you teach that material. It's not what books are taught. It's not what materials are used, what homework is given. That's, as it has always been, left up to the individual school districts, the teachers, the parents. North Carolina had standards in place before, and again, we're just talking about English and mathematics. That's the only two subjects we're talking about with the Common Core. But North Carolina's standards in the past were not very good. They were rated by our organization as some of the lower standards in the country. And I'm not picking on North Carolina. I'm from the state of Wisconsin, where our standards were even worse. But it's important to realize that by going to the Common Core, it's a major upgrade for the state of North Carolina. And your state, just like many other states, are now setting higher, clearer expectations for students, and that's going to benefit the state long term.
All right, so would it be fair to say then that North Carolina, and we know that North Carolina has been, I guess the best way to put it, underperforming a little bit with regard to public schools in other states. Would it be fair to say then that Common Core is a system by which an effort is being made for the students in North Carolina to be as educated as any other student, regardless of what state. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. I think North Carolina is still going to figure out their own unique way of doing things, and that's not going to, the Common Core won't prevent that from happening at all, but it's still going to be setting higher expectations for students, and that's really what's going to make the difference.
All right. Now, a lot of conservatives, the Tea Party in this part of the state has taken a very negative view of Common Core. And is it your opinion then that the reason that they are doing that is because Obama and his education policy folks have adopted this and are talking it up, and as a result, the Tea Party and some of the other real conservative groups are saying, hey, this is a bad idea. We do not need Common Core, in spite of the fact that you say that Common Core is basically based on conservative principles?
Well, that's exactly right. The Common Core is something that's going to not only make sure we get back to basics, not get into these kind of extraneous things that are taught in schools sometimes. That's something conservatives have been talking about for a long time. Let's not get into the political ideology. Let's teach basic reading, writing, and arithmetic in our schools. That's exactly what, if you go read the standards, what Common Core focuses on. Unfortunately, it was the North Carolina standards that were in place before that really sometimes did get off track, weren't as clear, and really, most importantly, weren't preparing students for what they needed to do by the time they graduate from high school to be ready for college or a career. As a result, you saw oftentimes additional money was being spent to reteach even some of the best students who would go graduate from high school, go on to college. They had to be retaught things in college that they should have been learning when they were in high school. And North Carolina spends tens of millions of dollars on this so-called remediation each year.
Again, if you just joined us for the first time, this is Michael Brickman. He is with the Fordham Institute in Washington, D.C. It's a conservative think tank. I made the comment that your organization, people know John Hood in North Carolina, Mr. Brickman. I don't know if you know John or not. John runs the John Locke Foundation, a conservative think tank in Raleigh, and I'm assuming that you guys do much the same work on a federal level.
Well, and we really do focus more on the states, actually. We are in Washington, but we like to focus where things actually get done, which is in the states.
And you actually worked for Scott Walker in Wisconsin, did you not?
I did. I was in the governor's office in Wisconsin during the time we were pushing a lot of the education reform efforts on collective bargaining, on school choice, and we made a number of other reforms as well, and happy to share some of that experience. I know North Carolina is doing a lot of the same things in terms of really trying to revamp the education system to better serve students.
All right, so for people who believe that Common Core is a bad thing, particularly the conservatives who are saying this, help us understand it. Make the case for us that Common Core is about conservative principles. Why do you say that, and make that case so we can kind of get a feel for the fact that this is not an Obama initiative being shoved down the throats of the people in North Carolina?
Well, I think you just have to look at the history of this. This, again, was something that was started even before Obama took office. It's something that's being led by governors. It's being led by state education chiefs. And that's really, I think, bottom line what this comes down to. And keep in mind, it's not just, although most of the attention has been on some conservatives who are against the Common Core, there are many on the left. Look at New York State, for example, where teachers' unions and many on the far left see getting rid of Common Core as an opportunity to dumb down expectations, not have accountability on the adults in the classroom, which is something that conservative education reform has been fighting for a long time, is to make sure that if we're going to be paying billions of dollars a year for our schools, if we're going to be sending our kids and entrusting public schools with our kids' future, we need to make sure that we're getting some results, and not just in a couple of schools here and there, but in all schools.
Does Common Core teach traditional education values in your view? Is it something new, or is it more we're getting back to the old school way of doing things?
I think it's really, in many ways, a back-to-basics approach. It's about focusing on making sure you've memorized your basic math facts in the early grades so you can go on and do algebra and higher-level math later on. It's about being able to read a passage, read the classics, read America's founding documents, and understand what this country is all about, and understand how to dig through a lot of the misinformation that's out there. It's harder than ever to get to the truth on issues, including, ironically, the Common Core. But I think if people are taught from a very early age to read a lot, to read for understanding, to be able to draw conclusions from that text, we'll have a stronger country overall, because we'll have people who are ready not just to graduate from high school and get their diploma, but ready for college, ready for the workforce, ready for a career in the armed services, and ready to be productive citizens of our country.
Well, and that's what we want. The concern about public schools across the board, and certainly so in North Carolina, is that kids are not getting the kind of education that they need to get to move on to college and move on to get good jobs and that kind of things. Can you give some specific examples of how Common Core is different and it does better prepare students than the way we were heading before?
Well, I think in many ways the expectations are clear. They're more rigorous. In many states, for example, the old standards might have required that you know how to figure out what 3 plus 3 is, but if you did it with a calculator, that's fine. That's really not fine. You're not going to be able to do higher level math if you rely on a calculator to know what 3 plus 3 is. And so the Common Core makes it very clear that you need to be able to memorize your basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, division facts, so that you can go on and do algebra, you can do calculus, you can do some of these other higher level skills. And there are many examples throughout the math and English standards. And I really encourage folks to go to our website. It's edexcellence.net, and they can find our study from 2010 called The State of State Standards, and that compared North Carolina's old standards with the Common Core, and that really, I think, will help listeners understand really what we're talking about, really what the difference is, and really how this is not about teaching specific material. It's not about what books are to be assigned again. It's not about specific lessons that are taught. Teachers always will have that full autonomy to make those decisions, as they should, as they need to have to be able to individualize instruction for every kid. But this is about, in the end, what do students know or what do they not know, and that's what matters.
Again, Michael Brickman from the Fordham Institute in Washington, D.C., and again, we're talking about Common Core. You know, it strikes me, Michael, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about this over the weekend. Common Core has become one of those buzzwords that everybody, even I mentioned the Lieutenant Governor here in North Carolina, Dan Forest, who is on the State Board of Education. I think we haven't heard anything from him recently on it, but early on, after he was inaugurated last January, there were some comments that came from him that raised some eyebrows, and I think some people were like, well, does he really understand the basic principles of Common Core? And now that he's spent a year on the Board of Education, he's not saying negative things. At least I haven't heard him say negative things about it anymore. But, it just strikes me, does this thing need to be rebranded? Do we need to just do away with the name Common Core and come up with a new way to brand this initiative?
Well, that's possible, and I think that's ultimately something that's up to North Carolina to decide, and some states have done just that. Some states have also taken, and it's important for folks to understand that there is flexibility built into the Common Core. North Carolina has already taken advantage of that to some degree to make changes, I believe, in adding cursive back into the standards, which is something that folks wanted to do. That's something that North Carolina had the ability to do. And so while there are people out there saying that this is a federal mandate, that there's no control, that's completely proven false by the actions of the state of North Carolina. but the actions of other states like Alabama and Pennsylvania and other states across the country that have taken these standards and said, well, we want to do even better. We want to add to them to make them even stronger for the kids of North Carolina and others.
All right, well, it's a great discussion, and we appreciate your input and willingness to be on with us this morning. I think it's as the State Board of Education moves forward, I think we're going to hear more and more about this. I know there's a forum locally here in Beaufort County coming up, I believe, the first week of February, where one of the state senators has kind of called a meeting to discuss it. And I think it's really important that the facts be on the table and it not just become this program not just become some sort of a whipping boy because people misunderstand it. I mentioned Becky Taylor, my friend who's on the State Board of Education. She is a conservative, as you are. I mean, you work for Scott Walker in his education planning, and there are some things about this that may need to be tweaked in North Carolina, but overall, it sounds like this is not something that as a rule should just be thrown out because it's misunderstood.
Couldn't agree more. And if there are productive ways to improve these standards even more, because this is a major improvement over what North Carolina had before, we'd be all for it if you can do even better in the state of North Carolina. But just throwing this out because there's some misinformation out there is not productive.
Yeah.
And if there are people who are opposed to this, they need to be able to say what they would do differently. And so far, we haven't heard a lot of that. And
your website, again, for people who want to learn more about it and see some of the material that you folks have put out, again, you're doing this from a conservative think tank point of view. Again, is it edexcellence.net?
That's at edexcellence.net. And again, the specific study that I mentioned where we compare side by side the Common Core and what North Carolina had in place before. Really, if you just Google the state of state standards in 2010, or you can search that on our website, you should be able to find it pretty easily.
All right, very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Michael Brickman. Appreciate you being on, Michael.
Thanks so much.
All right, let's get a break in. More Talk of the Town coming up. It is now 8:46. We'll be right back.
Imagine getting a new car and paying less than what you're paying right now. You can at Greenville Toyota's Trade Up, Pay Less sales event. Start the new year off right in a new Toyota with payments as low as $148 a month on the all-new 2014 Corolla. And new Camrys just $20 more, now $168 a month. And 0% financing on 10 new Toyota models. Plus, we'll help you get the financing you need. And remember, every new Toyota comes with a Greenville Toyota Advantage. Trade up and pay less. Stop making those high car payments on that old car. Rush to Greenville Toyota today.
At the law firm of Hardy & Hardy, we don't simply take cases.
We take your case personally.
I've been in several car accidents, and each time I've turned to Hardy & Hardy for help. They are honest, hardworking, and dependable. I've been satisfied with the conclusion of each case, and I would recommend Wayne and Charles Hardy to my family and friends.
You matter to us.
Protecting the rights of the seriously injured.
Unlock the best life has to offer for generations to come. Introducing the Legacy membership exclusively at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. As a Legacy member, you'll not only enjoy all the benefits of an active, family-friendly lifestyle, your children and grandchildren will enjoy membership status as well. Belonging to Ironwood is remarkable. Sharing it with your entire family is even better. Become a Legacy member today, only at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Golf at its finest, life at its fullest.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit topdogonline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
Pepsi. Born here, raised by Panthers fans everywhere.
Raise your Pepsi for a chance to win the ultimate fan experience. See specially marked 18 packs or visit PepsiRaisedHere.com to learn more.
Many people in eastern North Carolina suffer from diabetes. The question is, can the disease be managed before it causes harm? Are there lifestyle changes that can help prevent it in the first place? And can a health system really make a difference? At Vidant Health, we are empowering people with tools and resources to detect and manage chronic disease. Can diabetes help members of your family lead healthier lives? The answer is definitely yes.
All right, so I jinxed us. I was saying this morning that our antenna had not frozen up in all of this cold weather. And I think it froze up there for a minute. I got started getting texts from people that we went off the air for a minute. But we're back on. It's good to be back. And that was a good discussion about Common Core. All right, 10 minutes in front of 9 o'clock. McGee is here. McGee, are you okay?
You ever yawn and get that cramp in your jaw? I just had that.
You have a face cramp?
It's more like a chin cramp. With a face
I don't think I've ever had a chin cramp.
Oh.
And look, if anybody's going to have a chin cramp, I got plenty of chin to have a chin.
I tell you, that's uncomfortable.
You okay?
I'm good. I'm ready.
Need a minute?
I'm ready.
All right, here's it's 11 minutes. I'll make it 9 minutes now in front of 9 o'clock. Here's McGee on sports.
College basketball from Wednesday night. Number 18 Duke made easy work of Miami, 67-46. Blue Devils improved to 15-4 overall, 4-2 in the ACC. Freshman Jabari Parker leading the way, 17 points and a season-high 15 rebounds for the Blue Devils. ECU's women's basketball team held off Rice last night for their 23rd straight home win, 53-47. And we were talking earlier in the show in hour number 1 about the last time the Pirates did lose at home, and that was a November loss to the College of Charleston. Was the last time they lost back in 2012. So the Pirates now 23 straight inside Minges Coliseum, 16-2 overall this season, 4-1 in Conference USA, which is good for a tie for second place in the league with Tulane. Jada Payne leading the way last night for the Pirates, 17 points, 10 rebounds for the redshirt sophomore. The ECU men's team trying to get win number 1 in Conference USA tonight. They will host Tulane. The Green Wave come to Greenville with a 2-2 league mark, 10-9 overall. The Pirates are 11-7, 0-4 in Conference USA. Freshman Brandon Stith doubtful for tonight. I really don't think he will play at all. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock in that one. And some college football news. Duke and North Carolina will play a Thursday night ESPN showcase game coming up on the 20th of November, as the Tar Heels and Blue Devils have now finalized their 2014 football schedules.
I wimped out last night and did not go to the women's game, but and I feel bad about that. But Coach Macy is doing a heck of a job. By the way, you gave the wrong date or something. People have been texting me, emailing me this morning about What's the last home game that East Carolina lost in women's basketball?
I was saying the College of Charleston back in
November
17th. Was it 12th? 2012.
2012.
So season before last.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
So what wrong date did I get?
I thought you said it was the Tulane game.
No, Trent always.
That was the last conference game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
Yep.
All right. So East Carolina men tonight with Tulane and. You know, it could be Jeff's going to have to get – Coach Lebo's going to have to get creative. He doesn't have any big guys.
Yeah, going to have to adjust that offense, which he's had to do a lot. Anyway.
Is that Gary's hurt now?
I guess
Stith may be hurt.
I think one of the tallest guys they have now is 6'5" in Campbell. So
wow. That's a bad break. Tough break.
It is.
Some business news. I get this little report from Business North Carolina every day. And a couple of things here this morning. IBM is saying they're going to lay off a bunch of people. They're allocating $1 billion for first quarter job cuts, the same amount the company allocated last year when it laid off an estimated 3,000 workers across North America. An undisclosed number of those people that are going to be laid off from IBM are going to be in North Carolina in the Research Triangle Park. So that's not so positive. Another not so positive report in the Charlotte Observer this morning, Bank of America laying off an undisclosed number of workers. And its global technology and operations line, the bank employs about 100,000 people worldwide. in their technology division. Right now, it's unclear how many jobs will be cut and how many of them will be in North Carolina, but it'll probably be some.
After the president just visited RT?
Yeah. Well, here's the good news about the Research Triangle Park. SAS, the SAS Institute up in Cary, Goodnight, what's his name?
Jim
Goodnight. They're the software company out of Cary. They reported they're going to report today their revenues for 2013, and they're saying it's over now $3 billion.
With the B?
$3.02 billion, up 5.2% from last year. And that company, SAS Institute, employs about 14,000 people worldwide. About 5,000 of them are in their Cary headquarters. And they've experienced growth every year since it began 38 years ago. So SAS Institute, last year, $3.02 billion in sales. That's a lot of software, baby.
That is, man.
The good nights just keep on rolling.
It is a good day for the good nights.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And Forbes magazine has now appraised the Charlotte Bobcats as being their net worth being estimated more than 30% of what they were a year ago. Why is that? Are they winning now?
They're playing better. Yeah.
Does Michael Jordan own the Bobcats, or does he own part of the Bobcats? What's the deal with him? Is he just the general manager? He's got a piece.
He has ownership. I don't know how much. It might be all of it. It might be a portion.
According to Forbes magazine, Charlotte Bobcats are worth an estimated $410 million. Want to buy a basketball team in Charlotte? There you go.
Nope.
$410 million. That's 30% more than last year. The magazine also estimates the NBA team in Charlotte, the Bobcats, made about $7 million in 2013.
Soon to be the Hornets.
That's right. They're going to be the Hornets again. All right. That's it for us. McGee, have a great day.
Likewise.
Don't get any face cramps, will you?
Yep.
All right, everybody.
Cold.
Enjoy this heat wave. It's going to be all the way up to 40 today, but back down to 16 tonight. And get out and support East Carolina tonight against Tulane, and we'll see you tomorrow on Talking the Town.